So Jonathan and Chris, I want to thank both of you. It was so great to co-host with you, Chris. And Jonathan, I have been following your work at Penn America for as long as you've been doing your work. And I'm so eternally grateful for everything you're doing and the reports you're putting it out. My question for you is, what was your biggest takeaway from our discussion tonight?
I think when I'm, talking with a lot of teachers around the country, pre-service teachers, librarians, it's pretty consistent, which is people are afraid. And that fear is really getting more and more palpable. More and more people are confronting extremism in their communities, whether it's, demands to censor materials or people who are, accusing teachers of having like an ulterior motive in approaching their work. And I think that, the spread of state laws in a number of states as well is just making everybody really nervous. And so it's very clear that the appetite is there for pushing back on this, that a lot of people do want to show solidarity with one another and support each other. I think now we just need clear opportunities for people to get engaged, to join together, to support one another, and understand that, at the end of the day, if everybody faces this fear together, we're going to be a lot stronger in the face of it.
Amazing. Thank you. So, Chris, it was so fun to co-host with you tonight. We've actually hung out in person, but we've never co-hosted before. And I wanted to just ask you, what is your biggest takeaway from tonight?
Yeah, well, first, thanks for having me. And yeah, we hung out in person and now we're doing this. So you're fun all around. So I appreciate it. I would say my biggest takeaway, similar to what Jonathan is saying, that there is a lot of fear, but at the same time, I feel a sense of hope. As a history teacher, we see the ebb and flow a lot, and we see these laws being passed that create material harm for teachers and students, but we always see resistance movements and pushback. And we heard successful stories, and we heard people who are, not afraid to fight back. And I think that is incredibly powerful. And so to hear those stories, to hear Jonathan's expertise firsthand, because we've used Pan America resources in End Story and CCSSO with all these organizations, because it's very important. But to hear that firsthand, and then to see all of these teachers, pre-service teachers and librarians come together to try to figure out solutions and push forward, it's given me a sense of optimism.
Yeah, same with me. This work, studying it, experiencing it, talking to other educators who are not in New York City like me, it can get really depressing to see what teachers have to contend with every day in some of these states. And I also have to agree that I left this feeling much more optimistic about where we're going, because even though their goal is political, it's to silence, it's to erase certain people from the narrative in schools, I think it's galvanized us. It's galvanized young people. I will say that this summer I was at a youth leadership conference organized by Voters of Tomorrow, a nonpartisan group, but they were organizing and talking about the issues that concern them. I spoke on a panel, and I didn't expect our panel to be the most popular one. I didn't expect to get bombarded by young people. I thought they'd be more interested in other issues, but I had a row of kids who wanted to go into education, who wanted to know what it was like, and who wanted to know how to partner with us to fight against these educational gag orders and book bans. So I already felt optimistic there. And then this whole panel tonight and the chat, I'm actually optimistic, which is rare these days.